The first day at Ridgewood High was supposed to be normal for Emma, the new girl who had just moved to town. But as soon as she stepped into the schoolyard, she could feel the eyes of the popular clique burning into her. They were Notorious, Troy, Blake, and Serena, a trio that thrived on making life miserable for anyone who didn't fit their image. It started small, whispered insults, snickers behind her back, and pointed fingers. Emma tried to ignore it, walking with her books clutched tight, hoping to stay invisible. But invisibility wasn't an option when Troy decided to make an example out of her.
"Hey, new girl!
"Think you're better than us?" he sneered, circling her like a predator. Before she could answer, Serena snatched her backpack, dumping its contents onto the dirty floor. Textbooks, notebooks, pens, everything scattered. Emma bent down to gather them, and that's when the nightmare escalated. "Crawl," Blake barked, laughing as the other students circled around. "Act like a dog or we'll make your life hell." Emma froze, humiliation burning through her chest. She refused at first, tried to stand tall, but the crowd's laughter grew louder, suffocating, echoing through the hallways. In that moment, something inside her snapped. A calm, controlled rage that she hadn't known existed. She didn't run, she didn't scream, she simply knelt. But this was no submission. Her mind raced with a plan, and her movements became precise, almost predatory. When Troy leaned closer, expecting another moment of triumph, Emma lunged, not like a frightened girl, but like a storm. Hands gripping his ankles, she twisted sharply, the kind of leverage that comes from careful observation and quiet practice, and Troy hit the ground with a sickening crack. The circle of students gasped. Blake tried to step in, but Emma was quicker than anyone could imagine. She moved with a dancer's grace, a fighter's precision, targeting knees, shins, and ankles with controlled force that left each attacker writhing on the floor. By the time Serena realized what was happening, she was off balance, vulnerable and falling. The trio's laughter had vanished, replaced by shocked cries and frantic scrambling. Emma stood tall, heart pounding, eyes scanning the stunned crowd. Silence settled over the hall, heavy and electrifying. The message was clear: she wasn't a victim, and she never would be. In the aftermath, teachers arrived, shocked at the scene of chaos. But even as she was pulled aside to explain herself, Emma remained calm, composed, refusing to cry or apologize for defending herself. That day, she became a legend, not for cruelty but for courage, for showing that no one could bully her into submission. And as whispers spread through the school about the girl who fought back like a storm, Emma knew one thing: her story was only beginning. And for those watching, learning, and dreaming of courage, she had a message. Never let anyone decide your worth, and always stand up, even when it seems impossible. And to see more stories of empowerment, survival, and jaw-dropping triumphs, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because the next chapter is even more intense, and you won't want to miss what happens when the tables turn even further. After the shocking confrontation in the school hall, Emma quickly realized that the battle was far from over. Word of her fearless stand had spread like wildfire, and while some students looked at her with awe, others, friends of Troy, Blake, and Serena, began plotting quietly, waiting for an opportunity to humiliate her. Emma wasn't naive. She knew retaliation was inevitable. But she also knew that the true power came from control, strategy, and keeping her calm under pressure. The next morning, the hallway felt different. Whispers followed her every step, eyes tracking her movement, and an electric tension hummed in the air. She walked with confidence, head high, knowing the fear she had instilled was just the beginning. At lunch, she found herself sitting alone, yet not lonely. In fact, the solitude was empowering. It gave her time to observe, to think, to plan. That's when she noticed them, a new group of bullies who had allied with the original trio, smirking and nudging each other, clearly planning their next move. But Emma had learned from yesterday fear was contagious, but courage was even stronger. As they approached, she didn't flinch, she didn't run. The first one tried to grab her tray, the second tripped her foot under the table, but she moved with precision, deflecting and redirecting each attack with the calm, controlled force of someone who had already faced the worst. Within moments, the bullies found themselves on the ground, writhing and shocked at her skill. The cafeteria fell silent again, broken only by gasps and whispers of admiration. But this wasn't about revenge. It was about respect. Emma stood, offering a hand to the first attacker, showing that strength didn't have to be cruel. It had to be just. From that day forward, the dynamic at Ridgewood High changed. Students who had once cowered under bullying found courage in Emma's example, and the halls began to shift into a place where strength meant standing up for yourself and others, not tearing people down. Teachers, initially skeptical, started noticing the change too, finally intervening in subtle ways to ensure no student felt powerless. Emma's legend grew, but she remained humble, focused on her own growth, aware that the real battle wasn't physical. It was about confidence, resilience, and the courage to face life's challenges head-on. And as her story reached more ears, the message was clear: don't wait for someone to fight for you. Rise from the shadows, claim your strength, and show the world your true power. And for everyone watching, wanting more epic stories of triumph, lessons in courage and unstoppable determination, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because the next story will push boundaries even further and inspire you to stand tall no matter what life throws your way.